market is any meeting point where buyers and sellers come together to trade goods and services. The fundamental principle underlying markets is voluntary exchange, meaning that both buyers and sellers willingly agree to engage in a transaction. Consider a scenario at a retail store where you purchase a t-shirt for $5. In this case, you value the t-shirt more than the $5 you spent, while the seller values the $5 more than the t-shirt. This transaction is mutually beneficial, a win-win situation as you obtain the t-shirt and the store owner receives payment, leaving both parties better off through voluntary exchange. This concept extends to the labor market. For instance, if you buy strawberries at a local supermarket, the cashier chooses to work there voluntarily, valuing the $10 per hour more than leisure time at home. Simultaneously, the store owner values the cashier's labor more than the $10 per hour paid. This cycle repeats throughout the production chain, involving everyone from the delivery driver to the farmer and the equipment used. The ubiquity of markets, all operating based on voluntary exchange, often goes unnoticed. What many overlook is the efficiency of this system. Competitive markets effectively allocate scarce resources to their most efficient use. If farmers produce an excess of strawberries, prices drop, prompting farmers to shift to more profitable crops. Conversely, if there's a shortage, prices rise, incentivizing increased production. Suppliers will keep producing as long as they can sell the goods for a price that exceeds their cost of making one more, the marginal cost of production. Buyers will go on purchasing if the satisfaction they derive from consuming is greater than the price they pay, the marginal utility of consumption. If prices rise, additional suppliers will be enticed to enter the market. Supply will increase until a market-clearing price is reached again. If prices fall, suppliers who are unable to cover their costs will drop out. The information conveyed through prices in markets, known as price signals, guides the distribution of resources. Markets also encourage the production of high-quality products. If strawberries are of poor quality, consumers won't buy them, and if equipment is subpar, farmers will advise others to choose different options. In an ideal scenario, voluntary exchange leads to a situation where sellers can only improve their own well-being by creating something that enhances the well-being of buyers. While businesses, especially large corporations, are sometimes portrayed negatively, transparent markets and the freedom of choice for buyers make it challenging for businesses to take advantage of consumers. We've discussed how prices and profit influence the allocation of resources, but let's dig into the origins of these prices. Who determines the cost of goods? To unravel this, let's explore the dynamics of supply and demand. In the realm of economics, if there's one concept to nail down, it's supply and demand. The apple market serves as our guide. On the y-axis, we find the price of apples, while the x-axis tracks the quantity of apples. Consider the buyers and their response to price shifts. If the price of apples rises, some buyers may opt for alternatives like blueberries or jump on the all-bacon bandwagon, leading to a decline in apple purchases. Conversely, a price drop tends to boost apple demand. This fundamental principle is the law of demand, showcased by a downward-sloping curve on the graph. Now let's shift our focus to sellers. A higher apple price means more profit for the farmer, acting as an incentive to produce more. Conversely, a lower price may discourage apple production. This is the law of supply, illustrated by an upward-sloping curve on the graph. Now let's blend supply and demand. Imagine a high price, say $10. Producers would eagerly churn out apples, but consumers wouldn't be as keen on buying. This discrepancy results in a surplus. Conversely, if the price plummets to $1, buyers would want a truckload, but producers might find it unprofitable to meet that demand, resulting in a shortage. There's a sweet spot where the quantity buyers' desire matches what sellers are willing to offer. the equilibrium point. This price is the equilibrium price, and the corresponding quantity is the equilibrium quantity. Prices can undergo fluctuations due to various factors, such as technological advancements, shifts in consumer preferences, or changes in weather conditions. The connection between the supply and demand for a product or service and the resulting alterations in price is termed elasticity. Inelastic goods are relatively unresponsive to price changes, while elastic goods exhibit high sensitivity to price fluctuations. A classic example of an inelastic good, at least in the short term, is energy. Consumers heavily rely on energy for daily commutes, home heating, and other essential needs. In the short term, it might be challenging or even impossible for them to swiftly adopt more energy-efficient cars or houses. Conversely, many goods demonstrate high sensitivity to price changes. Take steak, for instance. If the price of steak increases, consumers may promptly shift to a more affordable cut of beef or switch to an alternative meat. Steak is considered an elastic good. Most markets are imperfect. They lack unlimited buyers and sellers dealing in nearly identical items with perfect knowledge. On the opposite end of the spectrum from perfect competition lies a monopoly. In a monopoly, a single supplier dominates a market with no straightforward substitutes. The monopolist doesn't accept the market price as given. Instead, they have the ability to set it. A counterpart to monopoly is monopsony, where there's only one buyer, often a government, even though multiple suppliers may exist. Despite these imperfections, the market system, built on voluntary exchange and guided by price signals, remains a powerful mechanism for allocating resources efficiently. As prices fluctuate in response to various factors, the market adapts, ensuring that goods and services are produced and consumed in quantities that reflect the preferences and needs of both buyers and sellers. The constant dance between supply and demand, shaped by the invisible hand of the market, continues to be a cornerstone of economic theory and practice. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned something and are interested in advancing your knowledge in life, consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to our channel.